Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of TJ Hates Quitters over here on Silent Podcast, where we are anything but silent. My name is Kari. I am joined by my co-host Katie. Katie, happy not Tuesday, but Wednesday, because I thought it was Tuesday until 2 hours ago. How are you this evening?
I'm with you. I'm all confused about what day it is and where I am and what I'm doing. And I gave Carrie the warning beforehand that I got my new COVID booster today, like the new version of it that is supposed to help Omicron. So I'm a little out of it. I'm a little groggy, but I feel good. I'm excited to talk about the show. I was awake for the whole thing. I remember it all. So I apologize if I yawn in your ear at some point and you're listening, but I'm good. I'm excited to be here.
Listen, we're being safe out here. You're a
Yeah.
trendsetter over in New York City, like one of the first to get it.
I
So,
was the first one in my Walgreens, which made me nervous.
yeah,
I don't know. You
understandable.
never know. You never know.
Hopefully, people get on it soon, myself included. I will be, I
Yeah.
swear, probably next week. But anyway, we had what I thought was a great episode of the challenge
Yeah.
because, um, like TJ, I love seeing women thrive. So
Yes.
we had Angela in the driver's seat, just taking full control of this episode. And
Yes.
I said it on my Twitter. I'm going to say it here. Angela is perfect for this show.
Yeah, she's great for the show. She's way better for this show than she was for Big Brother.
She is just so like dry and monotone and will say exactly what she's thinking and like doesn't
Hmm.
care because the thing is she knows she can back it up. She was the only person to finish the challenge on this, which was amazing. TJ was
Yeah.
like
TJ
so
literally thanked her.
yeah. Thank you, Angela, for completing the challenge. And unfortunately, we have to have a guys winner.
Yes, unfortunately, we need to have a guys winner.
Oh,
And to TJ, I say, you're right. It is unfortunate that we need to have a guys winner because the guys did not show up today.
no, absolutely not. And I mean, even like obviously Tyson is a huge Angela fan.
Yeah.
They've been allies since episode 1
Yep.
and but even Tyson was like I'm standing here in amazement just
Yeah.
watching her run through this challenge that the rest of us struggled with so much and
Hmm.
even leading up to it, which I loved, Angela was like I love climbing challenges, like let's do
Yeah.
this. And so you have that moment of like, oh, is she gonna drop the ball here?
Hmm.
Is But she didn't. She crushed
No.
it. The only one to finish. I don't understand. Okay, I shouldn't say that. Because I didn't watch Big Brother, I
Hmm.
have the privilege of just being like, I love Challenge Angela. I don't have to
Yeah.
consider anything about Big Brother Angela, but you know what? I like being able to take this in this like bubble.
Yeah. I mean, enjoy your silo. I think the whole Twitter timeline tonight is basically like, wow, this show really has me rooting for Angela. Do I hate Sarah that much that I just have to root for Angela? Everybody's feeling very conflicted, myself included. She's not the best person. Hopefully, she's grown since her Big Brother season. She had some unfortunate comments that she made, and she wasn't like super rootable, and neither was her alliance back then, in my opinion. But she's great for the show. She gives like Laurel energy, and
Yes.
Laurel's amazing for the show. So I'm here. I'm rooting for her. Obviously, we've been talking about it over the last couple of weeks, but she's the only one who's really putting her money where her mouth is. And honestly, the women on this show continuously show up the men. Like the women are running the show here on the Challenge USA. I think last week was really one of the first weeks where the woman winner didn't get her way in Desi, but I feel like across the board, the women are just like the driving forces of this show. Strategically, we see them really perform really highly in challenges and eliminations. They're just better characters. Shout out to the women on the show. Aside from Sarah, we hate Sarah. I'm not giving Sarah any
I
credit.
It makes me even more annoyed with Sarah's comment from last week's episode where she's like, "We've been doing the men's dirty work the whole time." Like, honestly, no.
She
I
doesn't know. She has to make up her mind because to this episode, she was like, Ben's just playing Angela's game and Angela's calling the shots and Ben's like, and I'm just like, well, last week it was that everybody was doing the men's game, but now they're
yeah,
doing Angela's. Like, whose fault is it this week, ma'am?
never hers, that's for sure.
Never hers.
Sasha, a fellow silent podcaster, had
Hmm.
a really good tweet where she was like, "Oh, um, Sarah should have went against Enzo." I saw it. I was like, shit, that's the tweet from this
Yeah.
week. Like,
Yeah.
that's it.
That's hilarious.
Good job, Sasha.
Yeah.
I retweeted it. That I read
That's a
it and
great
just
tweet.
made me laugh. So that would have been funny, especially because Ben won again. So, like, hey, Sarah, you got what
Right.
you wanted, especially because we're seeing them drift a little bit because Ben is choosing to take the side of the Alyssa and Angela alliance over the Survivor women, and Desi was like the exception, kind of like floating in the middle.
Yeah.
So they're drifting a bit. It would
Yeah.
have been
Ben's not allowed to have
funny.
any other friends.
No, well, I mean, he has Benzo.
All right. I have a question. Have we ever heard of Benzo before tonight?
No,
Okay.
but
Thank you. Because
TJ
I'm
knew
like,
about
am I
them.
missing? That's what I'm like. Everybody's talking about Benzo. Like, this is a thing. And I'm like, is this actually a thing? I've never heard this before.
Yeah, even TJ going, what about Benzo? Either he was being fed lines or we're just missing
Right.
out on all of these social dynamics that we're not getting in these 43-minute episodes.
I'm good missing out on Benzo, though. Like, I don't need to see more Benzo.
I would have liked to know that we had like a relationship duo name in Benzo prior to the 10th episode and the one where I mean Enzo didn't leave, but Enzo's in elimination for a third time.
Right.
Like we didn't get one single Benzo clip before this. At least if you're gonna bring up Benzo, give me a funny montage of Benzo moments. Like,
Well, Ben's not funny, so that's impossible.
but they're both bald. They could have done something. Like, I don't know.
True.
We
That's
do have a
true.
couple of shots of like Ben has, if you want to talk about tan lines, Ben's tan line from his hat, it is just like
Oh, I didn't
straight
even
up.
notice.
It didn't happen this episode. It happened. I think it was the episode when he like won for his friend or whatever. He was sitting outside.
Allegedly won.
Oh, yes, true. When Ben won asterisk for his
Yeah.
friend and he was sitting outside and he didn't have a hat or anything on and it's like the mushroom bowl cut of sunburns. It's just
Oh,
like
no, that's
straight up
terrible.
line right around.
Rough.
It is a distinct difference in tone. So that's rough, but I mean he's always wearing a hat, I guess, anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
just thought
also
it was
feel
weird.
like the David and Enzo blossoming of their relationship was brand new to me. I know like they've been seen speaking before on the show, but I
Yeah.
didn't know they were besties. I feel like this is something the challenge does a lot where they're like, this is my best friend. Like Wes, people are notorious for saying like Wes is my best friend. And I'm like, how many best friends does Wes have? Not that many. Like he has one. It's Nehemiah. That's his
And then
actual best
Brad.
friend. Yeah, okay. I didn't even believe that. I guess they were at each other's weddings, whatever. But like Nehemiah and Wes are actually best friends. Devin and Wes, maybe you're friends, but you're not best friends. And I feel like that's what we're getting with this episode.
Yeah, they gave us that scene a couple episodes ago with the two of them talking in the kitchen, and they're like,
Yeah.
"One of us
Like a
got to
passing
win. We just got to
conversation.
win," and yeah, like making spaghettios or something. I don't know where I got spaghettios from. Out of all foods that they could have been making, I
If
should
you're
have
a
said
Big Brother
Nani's
fan,
noodles.
Nani's noodles. If you're a Big Brother fan, you would have said chicken parm, yo, because that's what Enzo used to talk about in Big Brother All Stars. Chicken parm, yo.
Oh, my bad.
They're
I
making
missed an
chicken parm, yo.
opportunity.
Chicken parm. That's it, yo.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess they had been on a season of Big Brother together, so that
Yes, but
helps a
like
little bit.
they were not really working together. Like they were in a from what I remember, I block a lot of that season out of my head, but like David was never in the majority alliance. He might have thought that he was, but like Enzo was in it and a driving force of it. I don't know if he was actually technically in it, but he was a driving force of like the power structure of the house. And David was like a pawn. Nobody ever wanted to work with David. They were like not friends on the show.
David. I mean, you did call that he would go out in a true David Alexander fashion.
Yeah. I was gonna tweet and just say David Alexander, everybody, because like, what are you doing, guy? What are you doing?
We'll come back to that because that elimination does deserve its own conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can jump straight into the daily because a lot of the stuff before the elimination, like there's not a lot of places to hide, right? Or not the elimination, before the daily challenge, there's not a lot of places to hide. Like we kind of know where allegiances lie, that the survivor men work with Angela and Alyssa, and then We saw Kayla, Justine, and Sarah do a little like dance because they're like, we have to just pretend we're cool with Desi. We have to forgive her. We need her number. And then like did some dance. I don't know. My least favorite thing about Justine is that she's friends with Sarah. I love everything else about Justine, but that she's friends with Sarah.
Agreed. Justine is a badass. Other than that, just one. Everybody has their own thing. Everybody has a flaw, and
we
this is
all
hers. She can't be
them.
perfect.
Yeah.
What I kept forgetting and was surprised every single time it happened was that Kayla was on the show. So every time she got a confessional, I was like, oh, I was surprised to see her. Even though she had a few of them, I was like, oh, this girl's still here. Completely forgot that she was there.
It's weird because like we've seen her strategize and socialize and play the game, and she's won eliminations, she's won daily challenges. Like it's not like she's just kind of floated her way here, but at the same time she is very easily forgettable.
Very.
And I also just have a bone to pick because how many times has she like misused challenge words, and then today's like, I am the biggest fan of the challenge.
Yeah,
I'm like,
girl, no, you're not.
Girl, open up like Vevmo then, because like there's some things that you need to figure out. You and Pink Rose need to sit down and have a conversation. If you guys don't know what Vevmo is, it's like the spoiler site for
it's
for
like
everything
early 2000s internet vibes on Vevmo.
Oh my god, it's like the worst setup discussion board in the history of discussion boards.
Absolute worst. When I was like deep in challenge spoilers, I would just wait until they would get posted on Reddit because I was like, I can't look at Vevmo. Like it just breaks my brain to figure out in what like sequence to read these things in.
You would have like your profile thumbnail picture and it would just be in like the middle of the text.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is this? Is this a quote of something this person said? I don't know. It's wild.
It's like working with Microsoft Word, just how like you cannot move things, or like Vevmo was set up on Microsoft Word like 1992 and it just
it's bad.
Never was updated. However, incredibly accurate for spoilers. They were never wrong. And like Pink Rose was the genius behind that. So Pink Rose, if you're listening,
shout out to you, Pink Rose.
Shout out to you, but maybe find a web designer.
Yeah, rough. Does she own the website?
I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
I love when someone understands a Vevmo reference as well. Because do you know how many times we were like, Venmo? I'm like, no. Forget it.
No.
That and my favorite other like challenge joke to drop on people and like kind of test the waters is when someone like still has a T-Mobile phone that like makes the message noise. And I'm like, oh, TJ sent a message. And people are like, what?
On my T-Mobile sidekick.
Yeah. Or when people get it, I'm like, haha, all right, friend.
Yes.
So yeah, Kayla exists. She is still here despite our memories kind of like blocking her out. But yeah, we've got this daily challenge, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think it was cool. I mean, name a better pair than the challenge and like challenges on a truck. Yeah, moving. That's at a fast speed. Like that's every season. There's some kind of truck climbing on the side of a truck, jumping from one truck to another truck challenge. It's like they love trucks.
Yeah, we were due for one. Absolutely. Yeah. And so this truck challenge, essentially what happens is there is a bunch of holes in the side of the truck and you are able to fill like a Katniss Everdeen type of pouch, except where she kept her arrows, you would keep your pegs to put in these holes and try to make it across the truck using the pegs in your bag, and you had to climb up on top of the truck, and if you did, you'd like pull the bell, it would release smoke. But the little like catch to this is you got to go up to this board that emulated all the peg holes in the truck and put in 6 pegs already and decide where are you going to put these. So we saw some very interesting designs to the point where when it was Sarah and Alyssa who did theirs, TJ looked at them and was like, these are both awful.
Yeah.
Like TJ gave them no hope before they even started.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned, no one did well in this challenge except
No.
for Angela. And you can even argue that like Desi did well, but
Yeah.
she probably did the second best, except like she's a woman. So with
Yeah.
Angela actually finishing the challenge, Angela was the only one to finish, which was
Only one.
really
Yeah.
cool because like the men were watching and they're like, she's superwoman. She's like such a badass. Tyson complimenting her.
Danny
TJ
was all about
thanking
her.
her. Yeah, everyone like I know it's 2022 and we should expect men to see women as equals, but like I feel like in sports and athletic competitions, that is still a place where women are trying to like still gain the respect from men. And so to
Yeah.
see all of these men who have been successful in this challenge so far be like, hell yeah, Angela, go fucking get them.
Yeah.
Just like made my little feminist heart smile.
Yeah. No, it was great. Shout out to her. She did great. Also, my other favorite part of this challenge is that Sarah fell off like almost immediately. And I
Mm-hmm.
just keep thinking back to her saying like Angela hasn't proven herself when it's like you haven't won shit other than an elimination. Like that's all you've won. And Angela, this is her fourth win, I think, right? Fourth? Second
Yeah.
solo win.
Mm-hmm. She won
So
2 partner and 2 solo.
yeah, and she put together arguably the strongest alliance in the house at this point. So
Mm-hmm.
like what have you done, Sarah? Just wondering. Nothing? Oh, okay. Just wanted to check. Complain? Okay. Just checking in.
And I just love that we're getting these confessionals of Angela talking the talk and then she
Yeah.
walks the walk as well. Like it is so rare. If you are not a MTV challenge fan, you don't understand like what you have in Angela here. If this
Yeah.
is your first season watching the challenge, like there are we get very few women like that far and in between who are able to provide you with like the bitchy confessionals like Angela's doing. Like if you didn't laugh at least once at something Angela said tonight, you clearly don't like dry humor and that's a you problem. Second, appreciate like athleticism. Again, I don't know if I have to reiterate this. She is the only one that finished this. Someone like
Hmm.
Tyson, who I mean, he had to go first, so he had
He
the
did.
like
Yeah. He and David did have a
disadvantage
disadvantage because they had to
of
go first.
yeah, they kind of like let people know what didn't work. But I mean, Danny, former NFL player, like you have athletes out there like Desi, Jack, Sarah runs full marathons and complains a lot. Like you have people who are set up for to do well in these things. And Angela's the only one that finishes. Like she's athletically there. She is strategizing. Like Katie said, she is put together. It is her who put together this
Yeah.
powerhouse alliance. You arguably have 6 of like maybe the 7 strongest people. I would say that maybe Justine is stronger than Alyssa.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say so.
I mean, Dom is in there, whatever, but
Yeah. That's a
uh
questionable choice, but I
like
guess you can't
he's
just leave him out.
yeah, especially if you're going to include Danny and Dom are boys, but like she's
Yeah.
strategizing. She is standing up to the men
Yep.
too. Like she is holding her own. She does not bend over backwards because there's some testosterone in the room. Like there are very few women who have come across the MTV challenge that have done these like 4 collective things like over their entire span on the challenge, much less
Hmm.
than one 10-episode season so far.
Right. Right. Yeah, it's true. It's really true. I mean, she has a great resume. She's really good for the show. If she decides to join the main show, I'm sure they'll offer her a spot because she's just been crushing it. Um, I worry though because she not only was on a season with Casey, but she was
Yeah,
in the
an
in level
alliance.
6 with Casey. They made it to Final Four together. Her fiance actually booted her instead of booting Casey, which is interesting. They were in a showmance at the time at Final Four, but like I just don't want her to join with Casey, Fessy, and Josh. Like,
I don't know if I'm like advocating for her to join the MTV one as much as I am like, give me a season 2 of this so Angela can come
yeah,
back.
that I'm good with too. I'm good with that too.
Yeah, I don't want. We know. I think the Big Brother alliance has ruined MTV challenge. Like they're just not good for this.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because they chose a lot of flops. Like, as much as I hate Paulie Califieri, he was entertaining television. And
Also
Devon
will
was
be
great.
entertaining stand-up comedy November something
I don't know about
Chicago.
that. I don't know about that. Maybe entertaining in some ways, not funny, but definitely entertaining. Worth a watch, I would say, is probably the case. But yeah, I think Devon was great for the challenge. She was like an all-time, I feel like, challenge character.
Hmm.
Natalie was pretty good too, and she just
Yeah, Nelly was
disappeared.
good. She
And who
took a
else do we
lot of
have?
shit, and
Jose
it
was
was.
okay. I mean, he was like in and out. He wasn't really a mainstay, but like
Hmm.
that first Big Brother group was good.
Yeah.
And then we got like the full flops of
Hmm.
Josh and Fessy and Casey. And I know Casey's a winner, but she's still a flop in my book. She's boring television.
Yeah. I
Also,
think
Bailey and Swaggy
Natalie.
were pretty good.
Yeah, they just had like the house against them,
Yeah,
which was unfortunate. I think Natalie didn't come back because didn't Cara Maria out her on
she
I
did, I
yeah.
think. Yeah, something
Um
like that. Yeah.
so there's that. But even though like Polly and Natalie are still friends, I don't know, whatever.
Hmm.
Um not my relationship to figure out. Um so yeah, I don't know if I'm advocating for her. If she is there, like I don't want some of those Big Brother people there
Yeah,
because
I'd replace some of them with her instead
yeah.
of, yeah.
But I'm totally advocating for a season 2 and Angela is there because she's just so good for a show. She's meant for this show.
Yeah. Yeah, she is.
So after the daily challenge, um, we get some deliberation. And in the deliberation room, it is Angela, Ben, and David because
Hmm.
David
David is the
loses for the
loser.
men and he's automatically going into the elimination. Ben wins for the men. So they're in there. David's like, listen, you're going to choose who you choose. I would prefer to go against Tyson or Dom. And okay. So
Some of these
Dave,
guys really think very highly of themselves. I'm not
I,
saying he couldn't be Dom. He could have maybe even beat Tyson, but like Tyson wouldn't be my first choice. That's all I'm saying.
yeah, I think the only, and I'm not giving David credit for logic here, but the logic behind it is do you think you can beat, especially Tyson, in a final? Probably not.
No.
Then let me try and take him out in the elimination because I'm either losing to him in the final
True.
or I'm losing to him in the elimination. So, like, if I end up winning the elimination, I've just opened the floodgates for everybody else. Like, this
True.
becomes so I could understand if that was his reasoning. I don't know if it was as much as it's like, he's the best. Let me go against the best.
Yeah. Who knows? I
But
never know
quite
with David.
frankly, I don't think these last 2 eliminations would have been set up for Tyson's success. I'm kind
Mm-mm.
of
Men's
I
eliminations?
yeah, you
Yeah.
had Hall Brawl in this.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Tyson would have done well on either, depending on who he went against. I think it's the thing is, I think size wise, he's probably best matched against Danny, but Danny is a professional
Yeah.
defensive football player. So that gives him an advantage, huge advantage in Hall Brawl and a huge advantage in this
Mhm.
elimination that we had tonight. And I was kind of thinking, like, I wish I could have seen Danny in this elimination because I think it would have been really entertaining to watch him, like, put those skills
Yeah.
to use here. But we
It is
didn't get to see it. So,
kind of wild to me that I mean, I know that Angela wouldn't have said Tyson's name in the slightest, but like you get there and you see this, and I mean, maybe Ben doesn't realize what's happening, but a super fan like Kayla might. And
super fan.
I mean, even Danny to an extent, like he said that he's sat at home with Kiki and watched episodes of the challenge, but how is there not some sort of communication of like, if you want to take a shot at Tyson in these last 2 weeks for the men's elimination, like, why didn't anybody? You see the
Yeah.
setup of it. Like, okay, if he comes back mad, I'll deal with it. But you had a chance to get him out in 2 strength based things because I think he maybe could have outsmarted people in either of them. But depending on who you put him against, like, that doesn't necessarily smarts doesn't necessarily outweigh strength in these last two
Yeah.
eliminations. So I don't know. To me, I think there is some, especially by the men, like some scared gameplay in these last 2 weeks. Like, Ben, fight for it. Because then also,
Mhm.
what? You find out what happens if there's a split vote.
Well,
Does
that's
Ben
true. I
go
would
in?
love to know what happens if there's a split vote. But I don't remember who won the week that they threw in Leo. Was it also Angela?
I can't remember. I don't even know if I took notes, but I'm sure we can find it.
Yeah, the first
That would
male
have been
elimination, the
episode
fake
8.
week, the fake Ben win. I think it was Angela who won that. And I think, because I
Oh,
think
it
that's
was
when she put
Ben.
together,
Yeah, so it was Angela won the sprint on the
yeah, on the
thing,
thing.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
So that was the
So
men's elimination and then tonight. So I don't think, yeah, we would have found out what's in the men's, I'm sorry, what would happen if there's a split vote.
yeah,
But I just don't know that it's in the men's best interest to like potentially throw themselves in. So the only
right,
two real opportunities they've had to throw Tyson in, Angela has been in power and she wouldn't let that happen.
right.
Um,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. It would have, especially for Ben, who's been like kind of anti-Tyson.
Yeah.
But we can't expect Ben to make a move for himself. Like, he's never done that in the history of anything except for finding idols, and that's
Yeah.
not happening here.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, you're right. So both times it was Ben and Angela who were in the like power duo for the
Mm-hmm.
men's elimination. So Tyson, I mean, good on you for having Angela as your number one, because that's probably what also kept him safe.
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, Tyson was winning early on, but he
Mhm.
hasn't won anything in a while.
Yeah,
Not since the single, um, once we moved away from the algorithm, and even
individuals.
before
Yeah.
then, he hasn't really won. So yeah, I mean, Angela has carried that duo for sure for the last couple of weeks. And I think it's interesting because it's like the men and the women, uh, they have two different interests right now. The men want the strong guys out, or they should.
Hmm.
Although all of the men seem to be survivor strong still anyway, regardless of how strong these guys are. And I think having the Angela and Alyssa duo as part of that is like keeping them that way,
Hmm.
as we kind of saw in the deliberation, which obviously I'm sure we'll talk about. But the women just want strong guys to run the final with. So it's not in the women's self-interest to throw Tyson in at all. But
Right.
the men should want to. So there should be more, to your point, like at least more of a discussion about it, which we heard a
Yeah.
little bit of this week, but like not really.
I'm also kind of mad. Like, let's talk about this discussion because, first of all, good on Angela for being like, I didn't like the word fake. I didn't think Ben was being fake as much as it was like, you're not being transparent with me. We're supposedly in alliance together and you're not telling me what you're thinking. Like, good on her for calling him out on that and
Yeah.
like making him talk essentially
He's
because
like a petulant child.
yeah.
Like that was completely ridiculous.
But it apparently escalated a bit because later we see Angela talking to, was it Tyson and Danny, saying, like, we were talking and I told him, like, you're getting aggressive. I don't feel comfortable talking with you right now.
Yeah.
Let's sleep on it and talk again in the morning. So, like, we didn't see it escalate. And I wonder if that's like for protection of Ben, but also,
Maybe.
like, I kind of want to see Angela put him in his place of, like, no, you're not going to talk to me like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Ben is like a very, from what we've heard from Leo saying that, Ben, people called insecurity to sleep in the
mhm.
room because they were nervous to sleep with Ben. Like, I think there's a lot that we didn't
Don't,
see with
yeah.
Ben, which is fair. I mean, if it's related to his time in the armed services and it has something to do with like a PTSD thing, I don't know. I'm not, I don't know him like that to say. I would imagine it's tied to that in some way. So, like, that sucks if he's dealing with those mental health issues. But, like, yeah, it seems like they're definitely not showing us that side. They're pulling a big brother on us and they're only showing us the good sides.
Yeah, and we do see Ben saying, like, sorry if I spooked you a little bit. And so it's
Yeah.
like, let me see that, I guess. Why?
Yeah. Well, it's weird that they show the conversation and then we don't actually get to see what happened.
Yeah. I do wish we got to, but I again appreciate that Angela's like, nope, this is what I
Yeah.
want. Like, I'm absolutely not budging from this. And
Yeah.
she gave, it wasn't just like an emotional or even just like blind loyalty to Tyson. She also gave reasoning of like, hey, listen,
Mm-hmm.
we have a very good thing here. You go against us and it's not going to be good for you.
Well, right. Yeah. I mean, why you guys are set to go into the final. You have two guys that are not part of this group. Enzo and David. Everybody else is part of your group. They're keeping you safe. So like just do them a solid and keep them safe. Like, yeah, I get you're like besties all of a sudden with Enzo and you guys have a couple names somehow all of a sudden, but like just be realistic. Likely he's going to come back and he is back. So I also hated the conversation that Ben had with Enzo, but I'm sure we'll get there too.
Yeah, so they decide, okay, the end half of Benzo is going in. And so Angela, without telling Ben, tells David, like, listen,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be Enzo. And David gets mad.
David,
If you are listening to the podcast form, you just missed a solid eye roll from Katie.
I just don't know what to say about this man anymore. I don't know what else I can say about this man. It's like, you lost. Why do these people, Sarah too, I should get to choose I should decide that I want to go in and I should choose who I go against. You know how you can do that? You can fucking win. And then you can call the shots. But right now, you're getting the hand that you're dealt. I don't know why David is so convinced, oh, we're in the same group. Want Big Brother. When is the last time we've heard any conversation about Big Brother working together? Big Brother has eliminated each other. I mean, that's been essentially what's happened this whole time.
Mm-hmm. You
There's
kind
no
of
Big
had...
Brother. It's over.
So what? There was it 8 or 9 Big Brother players?
Well, there were...
I think it's 8. So you had 5 Big Brother 23.
5 Big Brother 23. And
you only have Alyssa left from that. And then, so you
Yep.
still have 4 Big Brother people, but like they're not, the only connection from anything prior to this is David and Enzo. And so like that
Right.
puts them on the outs. And
there's also Angela. So Angela's fiance Tyler
Mhm.
was also on Big Brother All Stars with David and Enzo, and he actually was pretty chill with David while he was in the house. So I was almost expecting that like Angela and David would have been cool, just because Tyler and David were cool in the house. But I don't know how much.
I mean, Angela did say she isn't like against him. It's just the fact of like, listen, none of us want to run with Enzo.
Right.
So he's on the outside of this. Like, I'm sorry, it's not who you want to go against, but it's not against you as much as it is like, we're hoping Enzo doesn't come back.
Right.
And she made the point, like, listen, win and you can choose.
Exactly. I mean, you need to be able to win to have some power in this game. It's not like I want to go against this person, so that's who I'm going against. And at this point in the game, it's so close to the final and so close to the end. Like any alliances like that should really, even the Survivor guys and the Big Brother girls, like, sure. It just feels like at this point, we should probably put that on the shelf for now, because just focus on getting there. There's clearly only one more elimination. Like, the girls need the guys right now, but like, just do whatever you can to get to the end. Like, we can't be just playing like Big Brother strong when the 2 Big Brother guys are the worst 2 guys aside from Dom in the challenge right now.
Mm-hmm. Dom was so confident he was going to win that daily challenge, by the way.
He was like, I have a dad bod and I'm going to like cry. I'm like, bro, I wanted him to fall off like immediately. Mm-hmm. That's the edit that I wanted, which we didn't get. He actually did okay, but like, no, it's just not happening. It's not happening. I don't know who you think you are. I wish I had Dom's confidence.
He thinks he's Wendell. Like,
he does think he's Wendell.
What was I going to say? Oh, completely forgot because I was thinking about Wendell. So
happens to me all the time.
R.I.P. my former
I was just thinking
Instagram
about that
follower.
The other day for some reason. I don't know why.
I have the picture that I sent to him. It was me and Jenny just writing a bunch of shit on a tabletop. I'll send you it.
Yeah, I want to see it.
I was scrolling through my pictures a few days ago and laughed when I saw it. So we've got David mad that he's not getting what he wants, and then Anjo is like, hey, when are we telling Enzo to Ben?
Yeah, she was like, do me a favor, don't say anything to Enzo. And I guess David didn't.
Yes, that's true. And so Ben was like, I'm gonna tell him. She's like, can we both tell him? She's like, no, this is my guy, I'm gonna tell him. So
fuck Ben.
Ben goes over.
I would have been like, no, we're going together. Because I knew as soon as he said that, I was like, he's gonna blame Angela for this.
Yeah. And I mean, even if he does, like, what happens? Like, if he did end up winning and comes back, and if he's mad at Angela, like, Angela's so well insulated, he would have to win
Yeah,
next week's elimination.
He has to win next week's elimination or challenge.
Yeah, challenge with someone who is not Alyssa
Sarah
or Angela. And that's like,
talk about my nightmare if him and Sarah win next week.
and that's how we would, like, that's really the only way that she's in some trouble. I think that if it's any of the Survivor guys, they're all going to bat for her because, like Danny said, like, listen, I'm here. Like, I didn't have to go in because Angela, like, we looked out for her. Now I'm not going into the elimination because she is returning the favor. So I do think that it would be like a very weird combination of winners in order that would, like, cause Angela to go in next week.
Yeah. Agreed.
So Enzo, mad. I'm coming. If, like, when I come back, I'm coming for everybody's throats. Blah blah.
He did have a couple of funny things to say. He said, like, Tyson looks like Jesus. He said the rich are getting richer. At the end, when he was done with the elimination, he said someone has like a duck face or something, or maybe that was beforehand. I don't remember. But I was like, this guy's just out of pocket right now. He's like really losing it.
Yeah, he was not happy about being put in for the third time. So
no.
But he was, and then we go over to the elimination, and elimination was. Go ahead.
Before that, we did get a little more drama of like David coming back over to Angela and Alyssa and like starting shit, and she's like, "Dude, what is the problem here?" Which I just thought was like such a weird display from David, because he came over and he's like, "I'm hot right now, I'm hot," and he's like, "I'm gonna walk away because I'm gonna say something," and it's like, why did you come over in the first place?
What are you
just to be like,
say?
I'm mad, but I'm not gonna say what I'm mad about, but like, I'm real hot right now and I'm gonna walk away. And I'm like, okay, you were away. Why did you come over here? You were not there.
It'd be one thing if like Enzo came over and because like you're finding out that you're being put in, but David, you put yourself there.
You lost. You have no option. You are going in no matter what. No matter who you go against, you're going in.
You could not peg your way along the truck far enough. No. Like, you just
David
had to get
practices pegging.
I was waiting for a pegging joke to come out of this episode, so thank you.
You're welcome.
That it's his own fault. So for him to get mad, and like, I get you're going against like your only friend or whatever, but nonetheless, like, you're not the first friends to go against each other in an elimination on the challenge. Like, that's
literally
part
Sarah
of it.
and Cash last week.
Yeah. I mean, they did have the separation of hamster wheels in between them, where this was a little bit more like together, but nonetheless, like, yeah, it's people who like each other have to go against each other all the time. And I don't know, again, like, if you don't want to be in that situation, then don't lose.
It's not even like you have to win.
You just can't lose.
Don't lose. Yeah. And then you might not go in. You might, but you also might not. In this case, I think he probably still would have gone in.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on who lost, but yeah, I think either way, him or Enzo was going in as the other option. But it's just like,
if a Survivor guy loses, I could see them putting in Enzo over David.
Me too, because it seems like the girls wanted to run the final with David over Enzo. Like, no one was happy.
Yeah. No, everyone did seem to be rooting for David, but like politely rooting for Enzo. Like, yeah, Enzo, but secretly, David, please don't suck. So, but we move into the elimination, and this is what I was talking about last week of we have some other ways where you can have some like contact, strength, physical eliminations that don't necessarily have to be Hall Brawl, and we got what I wished for.
This is so much more fun to watch than Hall Brawl.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm done. Cancel Hall Brawl. I'm done with it.
Especially the way the cameras, like, you don't even see what's happening. And,
I see like feet and sand.
Yes. And especially when like they're so bad at tackling, like they were just go low. Okay, never mind. We already did this episode. But we had, what's it? Balls in, balls, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
Very Jeff Probst thing. Lots of balls. So essentially with this elimination, you have a circle that is made by a rope. In the middle of this circle, there is a
It's like a
bucket,
bucket.
I guess you could say. Yeah.
It's like a
And
garbage pail.
yeah, it makes me think of American Gladiators, to be honest. So,
Yeah, totally.
which shout out Nitro, that's what you're named after. You are the exact opposite of Nitro the Gladiator, but that's what you're named
Turbo
after.
from American Gladiators when I was a child was one of my first crushes
Oh,
as a
really?
little kid. Yeah. I don't know
Yeah.
what he looks like now, and I don't remember what he looked like then, so like don't judge me for that. If anybody who's listening or watching knows, but that's me.
Yeah, I've
What
looked
can I
up
say?
Nitro now, and I mean, I think a lot of especially the male gladiators are suffering the
Oh,
consequences
I'm
of
sure they are.
rampant steroid use.
I'm sure they are. And I don't mean to laugh, but like I can only imagine. I'm
Yeah.
actually gonna look up Turbo.
So anyway, this challenge always or elimination always reminds me of American Gladiators for that reason because there was uh, a game like that on American Gladiators. But essentially, if you're on offense, you take a ball, you start outside the circle. Your goal is to get the ball in the bucket, whatever way, how. If you are on defense, your goal is to either knock the offensive person outside of the circle to knock the ball outside the circle. And that's where the ball is dead. So there are 5 rounds. Whoever scores the most out of 5 wins.
Yep.
And I mean, I thought going into it, like either one of them could win.
Yeah, neither one of them screams like strategic athlete to me. So either one, and we saw them not be strategic athletes throughout this elimination, specifically one of them. But yeah, it could have been, that was a total toss up. And it was kind of a toss up.
A literal and figurative toss up at points. So David was on offense first. And Enzo's big strategy was, I'm not going to let him score in the first one. I'm going to knock him around, which he was successful in that strategy.
He like picked him up and threw him out of the thing.
Yeah. And Enzo also didn't score in the first one. And to me, it seemed like David had an easier time playing defense on Enzo than Enzo playing defense on David in the first round. Round. Yeah, absolutely. David scores in the second round.
Yeah.
So he has a 1-0 lead, and then he holds Enzo. So it's 1-0 after 2 rounds. Neither of them score in the third round, but you can see that like David is starting to tire out more than Enzo is.
Yeah. I mean, they were both like even after that first round, it felt like they both almost immediately started gassing out. But it just felt like David, like the gas went out of David's tank like almost immediately.
Yeah.
Whereas Enzo's was like a slow trickle.
Dude, running in sand in addition to like tackling someone in sand, that's gotta be so hard.
It's tough. Yeah.
So hard.
It's really hot. I imagine it's hot.
No, it's cold there.
Oh, okay, never mind.
They're in their winter parkas because I don't know if you saw the preview for the finale, but they're like on a mountain with snow.
Yeah.
And
well, is that in the same location?
Oh, I doubt that they're flying people.
Well, yeah, you never know.
It was like tail end of COVID. They would have to do a whole nother quarantine and everything. I can't imagine that they brought them elsewhere. No, they're wearing their like winter jackets when they're except if you're Ben wearing your like fake tux shirt when you're the winner, which anyway, this is not a fashion show, but if it was, Ben, you would get fucking destroyed. So
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's somewhat chilly, but we end up in the 4th round. David doesn't score and Enzo does.
Yep.
So it is 1-1.
Yep.
And now we get into the 5th round. If someone scores, I shouldn't say if someone scores. If David scores, Enzo has to match it. If David misses, Enzo scores, game over.
Yeah.
So David picks up his ball and from outside the circle throws up the 3 like that Nick Young meme where he like throws it up and it like bricks off and he's like walking away celebrating like that. That was basically David in this moment where his thought process is, let me take this outside shot.
Yeah, we lost the plot here, David. We lost the plot.
I mean, I would have lost my shit if he was just like, Kobe.
I mean, at least that would have been like funny, but like, what are you? What are we doing here, sir?
We've seen people try this method, but not from like Steph Curry 3 distance
Yeah.
away. Like he was outside the circle.
Also,
We've
like, not in the final round where, like, this is the game winning point. Like, maybe
yeah.
try it the first round to see if, like, oh, maybe this strategy will work. But, and then you realize very quickly that it won't. But, like, you're really banking on this?
I mean, he had nothing to bank it off of. Um,
True. True.
that he tries to shoot the ball. It doesn't work. Enzo gets the ball out, and then both in the fourth round, the fifth round, when David is on defense, he manages to knock the ball out of Enzo's hand. And especially in the fourth round, David decides to like box Enzo out and try to like throw
This
his
was
body in front of
mind
him.
boggling to me.
Yes. When even like TJ is yelling, go for the ball. Like
He's
TJ's
like, the
trying to
ball's in
instruct
play.
you
The
how
ball's
to
in play.
win. And instead of going and for the ball and just throwing it out of the circle, because that's all you have to do, the
All you
end
have to
play,
do.
his defense in the fourth round was bewildering.
Well, this is David. This is the David that we know and that we've come to expect all of these years. Somehow, years that this man has been on TV. Years. Those are true words. This man has been on TV for years. We've been acquainted with David Alexander for multiple years. And this is what we see from him all the time. So to see him doing well in the beginning, part of me was like, oh, you know what? David's actually doing pretty well. Maybe he's going to prove himself here and prove me and everybody else wrong. And maybe he's not going to flop. And then I was like, you know, maybe I'm rooting for David. Maybe we'll get the underdog story from David and he'll do well. Oh, no. Oh, no, no. He did not. And he brought out the true David Alexander that we've known to come and expect.
That shot, there was like 3 or 4 tweets on my timeline in a row of like, that is the most David Alexander thing to do.
Yep. Yep.
I thought it was actually even more ridiculous the way he tried to play defense in the fourth
No,
round.
I thought that was more egregious than the shot. That was where I was really like, oh, this is happening here. And then to follow it up with the shot, and then even in the next round, the defense was just almost equally as atrocious. He just gave it away. He just gave it to Enzo.
It was a sight
He
to
was
be
like
seen.
laying on the ground, pulling Enzo's shirt for a minute. And I was like, what are we looking at here? Like, do you think that this is an effective strategy?
Clearly it wasn't, because in the fifth round, after David took a shot from way downtown, he misses. Enzo ends up scoring in the fifth round and wins. So Enzo coming back from elimination for the third time.
Third time.
With one leg, or at least one and like a half legs at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he had those stitches. But I mean, if he only had 2 stitches, I'm sure that by the time they got to that next men's elimination,
that probably was at least like a week, right? How long does 2 stitches?
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I assume it's like a 3-day window, but I'm basing that on nothing at all other than an assumption.
Plus, you could just like wrap it and keep it clean, and I'm sure like it was better on this day than it was 3 or 4 days ago, whenever he might have like had to do something about it. But Enzo ends up winning, and TJ just crushing this season. Honestly, like
great.
If TJ doesn't get an Emmy for the Challenge USA, I am rioting.
He's robbed.
I am finding the people that make these decisions and sending angry tweets every day. I will set an alarm on my phone and tag them every day until they block me, which would probably be like 3 to 5 business days. But I'm not having it. TJ needs an Emmy for his performance this season. He goes, Enzo, good thing that you're good at eliminations, because the daily challenges, well, they leave us something to be desired.
They sure do.
Roasting him after he wins to like probably make the final. He's like, yeah, well, here you go. Good job, champ.
What I kind of suck. What I thought was really funny about this was Enzo being like, yeah, I'm a night guy. And I was like, all right, that was funny, actually. So Enzo was fun. I find Enzo comical. I don't know that I find him like I don't know that I'm laughing at his humor or like laughing at him most of the time. But this
he's
time,
not like his Tyson witty, but he has some like his comments can be enjoyed.
Yeah, like once a week, I feel like I get a good like, oh, that was good from Enzo.
Yeah. And that's where we leave this. We are going into a 2-hour supersized finale, as they described
Yep.
it. So I'm interested to see how they do this because we have to lose a woman next week. Like, we have to have a
Yeah.
women's elimination. And then that means we've got 5 people going into maybe at most, if they can condense the women's elimination, like daily challenge elimination, to 40-ish minutes, like an hour and 20 for a final. And like we've seen on almost every single series of whether it's All Stars, MTV, whatever, those are usually 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're doing it. We're doing a regular episode and a final episode in 2
In
hours.
one, yeah. And it seems like this final, I know we were talking about it when we recorded earlier this week about last week's episode with Puya, about the format of the challenge, the final. This seems like it's going to be pretty intense. Like the snowy finals are usually quite intense. And I don't think we've seen one in quite a while. Maybe in like the last season I didn't watch.
I think it was the season that Jenny won. Were they climbing up a snow mountain then?
Yes. Bailey hurt her leg. Yes. That was a snowy one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also one of the most uninteresting finals to watch.
I mean, it like suits Jenny. No offense against Jenny, because
No
like
shade.
I would love to see, for the pure athleticism, like an Angela, a Jenny. I know, again, boring, but like a Casey. Like, give me, if we want like to watch more of a athletic or sporting type of thing, like put them in these things together. I think that'd be kind of cool. It wouldn't be good TV for like entertainment, but it would be, if you're more about the challenge part and less about like the strategy and the backstabbing and all of that stuff, like it would be cool on the women's end. But
put that show on ESPN.
Yeah, ESPN 8, the Ocho. We've got
keep it away from my MTV and CBS. But if that's your thing, feel free to enjoy and root for Casey.
Yeah, but that type of like that final matched Jenny because she great athlete, just kind of boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like though the challenge before the final
is in the dark.
Seems like it's gonna be a handful for them to handle as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they're not like shorting out on the intensity of some of these things. This is definitely more akin to like the main challenge, in my opinion, to All Stars. Not that All Stars daily challenges are not hard, and their elimination, all of them are hard. I prefer the eliminations in this season's eliminations have been pretty good, but I really like the All Stars eliminations. I feel like those are always really fun to watch, and just interesting, and just I like the ones where they like have to stand on the thing and like try and push each other off. Like that's fun. Not super athletic, but like just fun to watch. I don't know where I was going. I lost my thought, but I do feel like All Stars is like a little lower tier.
Yeah, I mean, it was funny because like there's a chance that the mean and or median age on All Stars is lower than that of the Challenge USA.
I think it could be. The Challenge USA is an older cast for sure. I mean, I think Tiffany might have been. Dom might be the oldest, or no, was Tasha the oldest?
Tasha was 46, right? Didn't we look that up because you were like shocked?
Yeah, I think Tasha's the oldest, and then maybe Dom, and then Tiffany in their 40s.
But we have, I mean, even left now of the men, Tyson, I'm assuming, is in his 40s.
Let's see.
Dom, Danny's probably in his like late 30s, maybe mid 30s. I don't know.
Yeah, Tyson's 43.
Enzo, definitely in his 40s, right? If he's younger than 40.
Yeah, he's definitely in his 40s.
I think he even said it in
because he was in his 40s on Big Brother All Stars.
Yeah. And then David is gone, but who's our fifth? Oh, Ben. Is Ben in his 40s?
I don't know. Enzo's 44, but the first thing that came up was the Big Brother fandom page that obviously is for like Big Brother 12, Enzo's first season, and it said he's 32, and I just like started laughing out loud because I was like, what? There's no way. Let's see what is Ben's last name?
Driebergen or something like that?
Yeah, we're not even gonna try and spell that.
The fact that I pulled that out of my ass is
I'm actually really shocked.
Pat on the back for me.
Go you. Also, I'm nervous for you. That's taking up space in your brain.
It wasn't like immediate. I don't know where it came from.
It was pretty fast. To pull Driebergen out, that was pretty impressive.
Thanks.
He's 39.
Okay, so he's almost 40.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, the men are 35, like, plus essentially in the
Yeah.
final. The women are tracking younger, but I think also a lot of the women on the show are just, like, younger than the men in general. So,
Yeah. And we have
um,
some Love Islanders in there.
yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I I liked this episode. I liked that.
Danny's 34, by the way.
Okay, I was close. I
Mhm.
said 35. That was a
Yeah.
guess. Um, I like that we got to see just like Angela fucking Hulk out in every single aspect of the
Yeah.
challenge today. Like that is so cool from especially a women's perspective because we've seen people like CT, Johnny Bananas, Wes, Jordan, Turbo, like you have these
Yeah.
men who kind of get to like control shit because they're people are afraid of going against them in elimination, plus their like political and social prowess. And to see like Angela be that player, I mean, like Tyson's been it,
Mhm.
but like he's not winning as much as Angela is. Like Angela is that player this season. So for a woman to be doing that, I am just like pumped, excited. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, she's doing great. She's doing great. I think my MVP of the episode, aside from Angela and her performance, might go to Danny. I feel like we really got to see a lot of Danny's personality in this episode, and I feel like he gave us great confessionals and was like really, I mean, backing up Angela and was like, she's Superwoman. And what I
Mhm.
loved the most is when they showed like a clip of Tyson talking to Danny watching the elimination before it started, and he was like, who do you think's going? Or who do you think's gonna win or something? And he's like, whoever puts their friendship to the side or something. And I was like, oh, that was good. A very insightful Danny.
Yeah, we've gotten some good Danny stuff over the last couple
Yeah.
weeks, and actually makes me want to go back and watch his season of Survivor just so I can like I guess see him there.
Yeah.
Um
I liked Danny on his season. He famously was very upset with one of the twists and apparently like
oh right, didn't he
was
like
very honest with Jeff about it, but we didn't see it really on the show.
yeah, we heard
But
about it.
apparently it was very dramatic. Understandable. It's a terrible twist.
Did the twist happen in season 42?
Yes, it was
Oh,
the
it's a
hourglass.
oh yeah, because I remember I can't remember if I was watching the episode live or not, but I remember my like timeline being like,
Yeah.
not this again, blah blah. And then I was
Yeah.
like, this kind of like wasn't that bad in terms of like like it was at least interesting to see, but I don't know what happened this season before. It's like I feel like this is getting a lot of hate, but
Well, I think we were just shocked the first season we saw it because there was a challenge and then the winning team got to go to the quote unquote the merge
yeah.
and got to have the merge feast. And then the losing team was put in like mergatory, didn't get to have the feast. They chose one person to go on an exile island essentially for 2 days. And then they
Mhm.
got the opportunity to break an hourglass and then
Flip it.
then the losing team got to be immune and the winning team who thought that they were safe was no longer safe anymore. It's like you can just change the rules or like
Yeah.
not tell people what the rules of the game are that they're playing. And I think that's what Danny got very upset about. He's like, we thought we were playing for safety, and like you just
Mhm.
basically changed the rules on us completely.
Which is interesting because like the challenge is notorious for just kind of like changing it up when they want to. And
Just
here
throwing
he
that one
is.
in there, you know.
Here he
So is the
is.
challenge. So
Yeah. Jeff Probst is actually just preparing you for what was to
mm-hmm.
come. So
Mm-hmm.
if anything, like maybe you owe him a thank you card, Danny.
Right, right.
Let me see. Is there anything else that you want to say about this episode of the challenge?
No, I don't think so. I loved the almost full lack of Sarah. We got some moments from Sarah that were like, oh God, I hate her. But like she was almost mostly absent this week, other than just being like, oh, Ben is friends with Angela. So
I
I don't know
did
if I can
like
be his friend.
I did kind of enjoy when she was like, "Nah, man, Benzo's done. Like, he's not your friend
Yeah.
anymore." Like, someone had to say it. It was unfortunate that was Sarah, but I was like, she's not like entirely wrong here,
Yeah,
probably.
well, because TJ was like, what happened to Benzo? And Ben is like, Benzo still exists. And I'm like, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Again, TJ, give him his Emmy.
Yeah.
Angela, like TJ, thank you for being you, for
Yes.
being just like a different character on the challenge than we've seen in a long time.
Totally.
And we're gonna bring it into a 2-hour finale next week. So we're losing one more woman, and then we'll have the final. And then the Challenge USA is done. The season's gone by so fast.
So fast. Everything is ending. Big Brother's ending the same week. It's ending that Sunday. This is ending. I feel like all of the podcasts are coming to an end. So I'm going into my resting phase soon.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Only doing 2 a week is like nice.
Yeah, I think, what am I at, 4? I think I'm at 4.
I mean, I was at 4 for some time too, so I understand exactly how you feel. But 2 is like peak.
Yeah, it's nice. I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, it also helps that like we get to do them together. So
that's true. It's true.
Minor detail, but yeah. So we're wrapping this season up next week. All right. Well, I think we've said everything. Nice, short, concise episode for you. Let's end this out. So, Katie, when you are not podcasting, when you are not about to fall asleep due to the COVID booster, which everyone should get because science...
get it. It's worth it. And you know what? I'm gonna have a great sleep tonight, hopefully. So it's worth it. It's worth the tiredness right now. But you can follow me on Twitter at RealSlimKatie. You can also follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/RealSlimKatie with an underscore at the end. Once all of these shows are over, I will be streaming much more. My schedule has been like a little janky lately just because there's so much TV, so much podcasting, so many 2-hour episodes of things. But I'm going to get back in the action. And so you can follow me there if you would like to. And as we were talking about, you can find me on Silent Podcasts covering, obviously, TJ Hates Quitters for one more week. You can, with Kari, here, where you're listening to currently. You can also find Kari and I talking about all things Real Housewives, which apparently there's a banger of an episode tonight of Beverly Hills, which I'm going to go watch in my bed when we are done. And there's still a lot of drama going on there. So check us out. We talked a lot about it this past week, and I'm sure we'll have much more to talk about this week. And then tomorrow, which is Thursday, depending on when you're listening to this, you can hear Chanel, myself, and we have Javier back with us again tomorrow, which is great. We love Javier. Very excited to have him again as a guest while Josh is unable to join us, talking about House of the Dragon, which is exciting. Another good episode 3. And then at some point this weekend, Friday, Saturday, whenever we are able to figure out our schedule, you can find us on Bounce Checks talking about this Big Brother season that is rapidly coming to a close. We're due for a double eviction tomorrow, so we'll definitely have a lot to talk about. Anything could happen.
Who's definitely going tomorrow?
We don't know. Anything could happen.
Really?
Well, definitely going in the
first elimination, right?
Probably Terrence, but I think there was a little bit of waffling today. I haven't really been keeping up too much, but I think it's still Terrence for sure.
Got it. And then it'll all depend on
Showtime.
Who wins the HOH for the second elimination.
Wins the veto almost, I think, is most important.
Got it.
But it's even though Michael is still winning every single competition, I think it's still anyone's game. There's still a chance that he can go tomorrow, so we'll see what happens.
All right. Yeah, I've been trying to keep up with Twitter, but like it feels like since Joseph left that a lot of the tweeting has died down.
I have personally stopped tweeting about it for the most part. Just because why? There was a lot of really bad stuff happening over the last couple of weeks with outing Kyle's racism and just Michael and Brittany on Big Brother using that for strategic gameplay, which is just like gross and really grimy. So from there I was just like, you know what? There are so many times I started tweeting things and then just deleted them that I was like, I'm just going to step away because I can't. I'll let it be known on the podcast whenever we record it, but I got to stay away from Twitter. I'm still reading it. I'm just not personally tweeting about it anymore.
Got it.
For now.
Nitro is like in some deep snoring right now.
Oh, I love that.
He is knocked out. He went to daycare for a little bit today. He's got a full day at daycare tomorrow. So yeah, you better get some Z's in. You can follow me, KGD26. Katie talked about my podcast. I have not been great at tweeting except during the challenge lately. So like if you're looking for good content, that's not it. So I had some okay tweets tonight during the challenge.
That's not true.
But otherwise, like I've been more, I don't know if you go through like waves of this where I've been replying to a decent amount of tweets, but haven't like been producing my own ideas. So that's kind of where I'm at. So maybe I'll be like replying to you, but I don't have much fun stuff to say at the moment.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
It's fine. So yeah, podcasting with Katie here and about Real Housewives. So listen to those because like it's us, duh. And otherwise, watch this or any of the other ones that we do on YouTube or Twitch because I think the experience is better that way. Like you missed out on at least one solid Katie eye roll during this if you are not watching the YouTube video. So you can do that on Twitch, YouTube, search Silent Podcast, follow us. We're also on Twitter, silent_podcast. You could watch us live there. If you listen to us in podcast form, whether it's Apple, Spotify, or any of those other ones, you can subscribe. You can give us a review. You can rate us 5 stars. I thought this was a 5-star episode. So, today's the day. Commit. Do it. Give us the 5 stars that we need, that we deserve. We've earned this. Like we're the Angela of challenge podcasting, right? Like we are doing all the hard work out here. No men doing our dirty work. It is us. So
I'd rather be the Laurel, I think.
Yeah.
Personally. Yeah.
Laurel is like exciting Angela. Like Laurel is also going to like have sex with people. Anyone.
Yeah. Well,
really.
I'm not going to do that, but I would prefer I like Laurel more.
Yeah, Laurel is more MTV challenge and Angela is more CBS challenge, like with what they'll show and air. But they do have a lot of similarities. Although I don't think Angela could ever give the suck it that Laurel gave us.
Literally never. She could never.
Oh my gosh, so good. But yeah, say nice things about us. We like to hear them. And otherwise, we will see you for Housewives later this week. And then next week for TJ Hates Quitters, the finale. And that's it. So thank you for listening. We will catch you later. Bye.